Order. It's the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, held on January 21st, 2014 at 6 p.m. at the Council Chambers. Deputy Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pratt.
Here.
Councilmember Dowling.
Here.
Councilmember Linsky.
Here.
Councilmember Cowarty.
Here.
Councilmember Garrison.
Present.
Vice Mayor Pfeiffer.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here. Okay, the next item is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have Penny Spillman with us tonight to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. On behalf of the city, we would like to thank you for leading the Pledge of Allegiance and you're welcome. The next item is a brief summary of current events by the mayor, city council, and/or city manager or his designee, which is Rudy Rodriguez tonight. The public body does not propose, discuss, deliberate, or take legal action on any matter brought up during the summary unless a specific matter is properly noticed for legal action. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'll point out a couple of things that have happened. Wanted to mention that the CAT system, Cottonwood Area Transit, had a really good, successful start on their first day this last Monday of their new transit route. Everything went smoothly, and we expect it to continue that way. But more importantly right now is that our city manager, Doug, is recuperating very well, and he anticipates to be back with us this coming Monday. So that's a really good thing for the city of Cottonwood and staff. The Looking Good Cottonwood over at the Recreation Center closed their sign up on the 28th excuse me, we'll be closing the 8th. Closed the 8th, and they've got over 200 participants signed up for the Looking Good Cottonwood. Over at our airport, the A.R.S system should be up and running by Friday. I know that's a long-awaited project for the airport facility. Our library is finally finished up. They have a great-looking carpet, and they have a new reference desk that was recently built, and we'll be looking to, they got their seats, their chairs cleaned, and we're looking to possibly replace seating next year with them. The Tractor Supply Store has announced that it anticipates to have its grand opening between the 23rd and 25th of March, so they're moving along quite well. The Sedona Film Festival happens to have a young man who is planning to do his student thesis here in Cottonwood. He'll be doing some filming over at the Cottonwood Cemetery on the 1st or 2nd of February. The community survey will go out at the end of this month, and this year we will be taking all the surveys at any city building. So anyone who gets a survey and wishes to return them can just drop it off at any city building, and we'll get it to the city manager's office for tally and compiling. Wanted to also mention to council that this morning I got a call from Lon Walters out of Sedona about our staff, specifically Matt, our deputy city clerk, Roger Biggs, and Christina Papa from utilities and from building inspection. he called because he had been to several other offices, not city offices, and had been treated very rudely. And he wanted just to make sure that council and our city manager and these staff members were aware that he was very impressed that when he did talk to these specific individuals, they were very, very nice, generous, very respectful, and very helpful towards everything he needed to get done. And he just wanted to relate to that to council, that we have a great staff that is very, very considerate of the public, and he just wanted to make sure that council was aware of that. And with that being said, I think I've got everything taken care of. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Great report. Council members, what's been going on in your service lately? Everybody's been busy, I know, and sometimes I say things that you all have been already involved in. So, Mr. Dowling.
Last week I met with the BAC, the Bicycle Advisory Committee or Commission, and attended their meeting. It was very informative. I'm going to try and do that more often. I also spoke there about the desire to start a bike event, and also to start rounding people up for the Bike MS event. It's going to be May 17th and 18th, I believe. Where I think the city's going to get a team together. I'm not sure exactly on the details there yet. I've actually worked with the folks at the MS Society, and they did get me a discount code that will allow people to sign up a little bit cheaper. So anybody's interested in riding, you can contact me. My information's on the internet, on the city website. Or come to a meeting and ask, or just look us up. I'll be out riding my bike, a big guy, little bike. Honk if you see me.
And will you be in a red shirt?
I might be.
Okay.
Red or gray?
All right, so we can be sure to see you.
It'll be like a tomato on a toothpick.
Okay, so I attended the Chamber of Commerce Ambassadors ribbon cutting for the National Processing Solutions at 830 Main Street with Eric Myers and his staff a couple of weeks ago. And it's this little business, as far as I know, was actually born in Cottonwood. And it's, they do a lot of merchant debit cards, credit cards, that sort of thing. And it's grown, and it has offices in Phoenix, and as far as I know, some nationwide type offices, all right here in Cottonwood. And so the ribbon cutting wasn't really about that business. It was about a new payment in kind program that they've created. So with payments in kind, 20 cents of the profit from every payment is that a business accepts goes to an organization of their choice. So they could pick the ARC, for example, or they could pick another nonprofit, the Senior Center, Verdi Caregivers, the hundreds and hundreds of nonprofits that we have. And so you can give to any cause while saving money on your merchant account, and there's no cost to the business. So that is just something I wanted to share. They seem to be very giving in the community. I spoke at the Cottonwood Chamber Breakfast on January 9th to talk about the Verde Valley SciTech Festival that will be held March 22nd through March 29th. And Mr. Rodriguez has been a huge player in the SciTech Festival. He's just been such a help, and Doug was on vacation when he started this, and when Doug came back, as I understand it, Mr. Rodriguez said that he'd like to continue. So I think it's kind of exciting to be in creative kind of things when you crunch numbers most of the day. But yep. I just really want to compliment him. You guys would be so proud of the work that he's doing, the leadership that he's taking. And it's really, you know, making Cottonwood look like leaders. And it's a Verde Valley-wide event. And the college is a big player. The college will be having an expo. So stay tuned, because it's going to be lots of fun. On January 9th and 10th, I attended the Governor's Council on Aging. There was a 2-day meeting, and I was appointed by the governor recently. And I was also appointed to chair the Mature Workforce Committee. So I think that Dwayne would be very proud of me serving our elders, as he always did so well. On Saturday the 11th, about 60 community members, including, Richard, were you there after I left? I thought I saw some photos of you, including Richard and his son and friends and a whole bunch of other folks, showed up at the Sergeant Jordan Maynard Volunteer Day. And this was, I mean, they had tons and tons of granite that people wheelbarrowed around the house and unloaded. So it's just lots of great community members showing up with picks, shovels, wheelbarrows, garden tools. And we had ages 3 to 91. And the 91-year-old was digging ditches or digging holes for plants along with, you know, the younger folks. He was amazing. So all ages came and helped. So no good deed should go unappreciated, and to show the community's appreciation for all the hard work by the volunteers, we had merchants and organizations like Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Home Depot, Walmart. The City of Cottonwood helped out, Verde Valley Medical Center, Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 7400, American Legion Posts 25 and 135, and community residents. And so they helped feed all of these folks. So it really takes a community to make something like this happen. And it's just so great to be from a community that does these kinds of things. It really is. His Sergeant Maynard's key ceremony, and if you haven't already heard, Sergeant Maynard lost both of his legs in Afghanistan. And so this house is being built for he and his family by Homes for Our Troops. So on Saturday, February 1st at 11 a.m. at 2680 South Annika Lane in Cottonwood, he will experience his key ceremony where Homes for Our Troops will hand over the keys to Jordan Jennifer and 8-year-old Jay. And the public is invited to share in this exciting Welcome Home Day. And all of the fundraising efforts we've had, our fire department helped, and our Parks and Rec department did a tremendous amount. Our community, along with businesses, we raised $26,000. I think that's pretty good for spaghetti dinners and the kinds of events that we had. That was a lot of spaghetti. So we can really be proud of our community. On January 17th, I was invited by Cottonwood Elementary School teacher Beth Rossiter to be a judge at the Geography Bee. And the young people, the children, were awesome, and they fought to the end to be the best in the Geography Bee, and we can really be proud of our kids in this community. So in the coming week, I'll be at the Greater Arizona Mayors Association and then also the Arizona Association of Economic Development. They're together on, one's the 22nd, one's the 23rd, to talk to legislators. And the Mayor's March a Mile for Meals event is scheduled for March 22nd, and I hope members of the council, I'll challenge you all to get teams together for this important event that ensures that seniors can remain independent and stay in their homes longer by getting a good, hot, nutritious meal every day. And the Verde Valley Senior Center is truly a lifeline to the elderly in our communities. And I did recently lose a friend, an 87-year-old friend who, all of these services that are provided in our community, they really do help people stay in their homes for as long as possible. And so I do know the council is supportive, and I appreciate your support. Okay, the next item is awards. And the first award, Liz Guerra was not able to be here tonight, so we have the Steve Jackson Award. And I believe we will have Dan Luter to, hang on just a second, let me get there. Are you doing the presentation?
Nominated him, so I'll let Howard.
Oh, okay, Howard. All right, Howard Harkey has nominated him. So, your title, Howard, remind me? I know
I'm going
you're
to introduce
important.
Mr. Jackson here.
Yes.
Is that thing on button? Madam Mayor, Council, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Mr. Jackson, but he's almost been here 5 years. And he's probably one of the most dedicated employees that we have. He's a hard-working guy. He's very dependable. And the first thing that he had to learn when he got here was to be flexible. And Steve's done a real good job at it. And he's here tonight to be given an award. And I'd like to introduce him now, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Flexible. This is Steve.
All right.
Nice to meet you all.
Great. So do you have any words of wisdom for us?
I don't know if it's wisdom, but it really means a lot to me to be recognized for this award, to know that people are noticing your hard work and dedication to the community and to your job. And Howard makes mention of it now and then, but it's nice to know that other people are noticing too. And, it's just a great place to work. I enjoy coming to work every day and enjoy what I do, and it's nice to be recognized for it, so thank you very much.
And well deserved. I was at when we did the Christmas tree lighting this year. These guys came out on, at night to do this. Was it on a Saturday?
I believe so, yeah.
It seems like it was a Saturday night, and they came out, they left their homes to come out and serve their communities and try to make those lights go on at the same time that, you click on the button, and they did a fantastic job, and I really appreciated you for doing that. But okay, so we have a little surprise for you.
Oh, wow. Like surprises.
And I think the vice mayor's on the committee that...
Not on the safety, I'm on the other.
Okay, well, she's on one of them. So if we could have you come up here. We would like, on behalf of all of the council, to present this, and moving to the city manager. So we would like to present you with this for your wall. Isn't that nice?
Beautiful, yes, thank you.
So with this plaque, and then that's not all.
I forgot my stool.
You're adorable. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of a check there, so you can take your favorite person out to dinner or something.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Very appreciated. Thank you.
Congratulations, Steve.
Okay, going to the next item. Presentations. So next we have a check to the Northern Arizona Veterans Affairs Healthcare System of proceeds from the Cottonwood Fall Classic Disc Golf Tournament. And we have Dan Luter here with us tonight, who's kind of been the person that is the driving force, along with his excellent staff and many community volunteers, to make this happen.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. You probably heard some of this from the last meeting when we presented a check. But this is the second year for the Veterans Day Classic. We had 82 players showed up to play. 67 of them were from out of town. All the participants, one of the things we mandated was all participants paid an extra $5 that automatically went to the donations to the veterans. In addition, we had a total of $2,400 after we paid all expenses that was left over. And as you know, we donated $900 to Homes for Our Troops. And what we'd like to do tonight is present a check for $1,500 to Charlie Bunce, who's the Volunteer Services Manager from the Prescott office. He's also a veteran. And also like to have Sharon come on up. because Sharon is the one that keeps all the money straight.
Sharon does a lot and spends a lot of time, I think, on veterans projects.
Well, first of all, I'm having some deja vu here. I had meetings every Monday night in Grand Forks, North Dakota. I worked for the mayor there for 2.5 years. I hid from the rest of you guys. That's deja vu. As a vet, and having been working with vets for 4 years now, and I look at your sign behind there, and to see what you guys have done and the community that you have, you really are the heart of the Verde Valley as far as your care and the hearts that you have for the veterans. And on behalf of Donna Jacobs, who's our director, and the rest of the staff there, really say, thank you and bless you for what you've done.
Welcome.
Per capita, as far as the Verde Valley is concerned, I just received another check from another event. Per capita, you have given more per individual to the vets than any other group that we have, any other town or whatever. And so that to me was amazing to think of this check, another check, and some other things have come in. We've had over $25,000 come from this community in this last year. And I want to thank you for being part of that community that did that. So, is that what you wanted me to say? Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's really great to know.
One thing I neglected to say is Sharon and Tony Fanning have created some drop boxes, and we have about another 10 boxes of clothes, personal care items, and all that we'll also donate over to them. So kind of a labor of love.
Have a whole truck full.
Absolutely. Well, it is a great cause. Our veterans who have given so much of their lives for our security and our safety, and one of our veterans is Councilmember Howdegi, who served in the Vietnam War, and very much appreciated your service. And we have a few husbands of council members that have served, and several branches in Karen's case. So,
Air Force and Navy.
Air Force.
My husband's a Vietnam veteran also.
And I have to say, what you're doing here is so opposite of what happened when we came back.
I know.
That this is fantastic. Every day I said, my gosh.
We're trying to make it up. I don't think you ever can, but what you guys went through when you came home, I lived it because I had a husband that had just returned from Vietnam, so I know the pain that happened to our Vietnam veterans. But I think we're a lot more aware now of what we did, and we're sorry.
Oh, don't apologize. It's been a great life and a great career for myself. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So what do you...
To get that in my wallet.
What would you like the council to do? Anything? Do you want to just...
Come on down.
You want a picture of the check?
So do you want to come up here?
Sure. I think it would be nice to have the Veterans Council.
That would be great.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
One more. And when I attended the wall, when we had the traveling wall here in Cottonwood in March, I did do an etching for Councilmember Howdegi's brother, David, who lost his life in Vietnam. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So moving on to the next presentation is a plaque of appreciation to the Cottonwood Recreation Center from the ARC for support of persons with intellectual and development disabilities. And Penny Spillman's going to come up and raise that little microphone up a little bit and share with us some information about the ARC, what they do, and how the community can support them.
Thank you, Mayor. Am I talking into it? That's only...
Speak up.
Good. Well, I'm proud to say that we are going into our 40th year of providing services to children. In the beginning, it was children, and my daughter was 3 years old. There was a family, we had about 5 families who started Yavapai Association for Retarded Citizens back in 1974. We are now a lot bigger. We started out with $6,600. Now we have a larger budget. I don't know if I want to say it, but it's a lot because we provide a lot more services. We have 3 homes for people who don't have families or have families that are getting older and needs a place for their family member to live. And those homes are located off of Fur, on Dobbin Trail, Wildboro, Hammer Circle. We have all 5 of them in one area, and I have not one complaint from any neighbor, which is really unusual in my profession because lots of people don't want handicapped people in their neighborhood. I have a little story that I just thought of. A gentleman that works for APS came on property up there on Willard, and he was looking for the person who was in charge, and of course they directed him to me. He said, I have a house up near your group homes, and it is for sale, and it will be my neighbor. Would you go up and look and consider buying that home to have one of your group homes up there? Now, that's pretty nice. Unfortunately, that house did not meet my standards. It wasn't what we were looking for, and we weren't in the market to buy. But to have a person who works for the APS who sees all kinds of housing.
Adult Protective Services, is that APS?
No.
Oh, the APS, the energy company.
Yes.
Got you, okay. All right.
And so I was surprised, but that's a compliment to our group homes.
It is. That is a big
very
compliment.
well, and our people love they call them their homes. We also provide work programs. They go out in the community, and one of the ladies sitting behind me, she said she didn't recognize me. Well, the reason she didn't recognize me because I never saw her. And besides, over 40 years, have I not changed just a wee bit? But their company employed some of our adults. And we also have learning centers where they continue to learn about reading. Some who had never read in their life in school have been taught to read in our reading class. So it's just on and on. Anything you can think of that you would want in your life, we make sure that they have in theirs. And sometimes their social life is a lot better than mine. This last Saturday, the game in Prescott, hockey game, a whole 2 big loads of vans went up there to watch the hockey. I had to go up there to get Rebecca. She got sick, and I had to go get her and bring her back home. But it was something awesome to see all of them in those big vans of ours going up there. How you can help? I think the city of Cottonwood has helped us all along in something really marvelous. They have been accepting. I have never been told by a member of this community that our people were not accepted for any reason. And that's why we're giving this plaque today. We gave it to Mayor Jones. Cottonwood Recreation Center has just been marvelous. We have gone there during the day, during the week for swimming, and we have, a lot of our members have memberships, and the people at the front desk, I mean, they know everybody first name coming right on in. And that makes you feel good. And something like the recreation center is important to all of us. It's important to you and it's important to them. So that's why I'm here tonight, is to present to the Cottonwood Recreation Center our appreciation for the fine job that all of their staff does to include our people when they come there. So.
All right, so we have Hezekiah Allen and the Director of Parks and Recreation, Richard Faust, here tonight to accept this honor. And please accept the council's thanks that you're getting an honor like this. That means so much to us. So if you want to come up around here and face the public. Who would who from the?
Reuben needs to come down because Reuben in the early days came to our place and did a lot of carpentry work.
All right,
and
so.
He probably forgets that because it's been so long ago. But I haven't. And that same carpentry work is still up.
All right. So if Councilmember Howdegi could go down and, on behalf of the council, and accept the plaque, that would be great. I was honored to attend their annual dinner dance, which I've done for, gosh, years now, and be able to accept it. Staff wasn't able to be there that night, to be able to accept it on their behalf. So thank you for being here tonight. And again, congratulations to Richard and his staff. We appreciate you recognizing the city's care and concern about all the people in the community. Okay, the next item is the city's biennial community survey, and we have Kyla Allen with us tonight for that.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm just going to go pretty quick through this because this is just kind of the kickoff of it, kind of to make the public aware that it's coming up and it's going to be in their mailboxes. I'm going to do a quick little presentation. Okay, for those council members that weren't on board with the council at the time, back in 2009, the council began their annual retreats under the current city manager, and they built the strategic initiative number 3, which was to build and retain a strong, can't see that too well, thank you, to build and retain a strong, diversified economy, and number two goal under that was to create a citizen survey to determine shops and services needed in Cottonwood. So in essence, it's to determine what the services our citizens desired and rate the quality of the departments of the city of Cottonwood. And that's kind of how we've done it. We also decided to make it biennial. I know personally, I had to look it up to figure out if it was biennial or biannual. Personally, when I get a survey every year, when you start getting them, you don't want to answer them anymore because it seems like, didn't I just answer this? And you're not going to be really invested in it. You're going to not maybe take as much time or even throw it away. So biennial seemed the best way to do it and the most effective, and it seems to have done its job. We've had 3. This is going to be our 3rd. Since 2010, we do it every 2 years. They haven't really changed much. We've added and subtracted a couple questions. I'll go over what those are, but the appearance is pretty much the same. I think you have a copy in your book or in your agenda. We're going to go over the most significant changes. The few changes that we have are Up at the top, you'll see there's yellow. We added, do you live inside or outside the City of Cottonwood Incorporated limits? The reason for that is it helps us to get a concern, if a citizen has a concern, to get it to the right agency. If they have a compliment, we want to get that to the right agency. So if they're able to provide that to us, we can get it to, say, Yavapai County, or we can get it to, it's going to be either Yavapai County or Cottonwood. So we want to be able to make sure if it's a concern, we want to handle it quickly, and we want the county to be able to handle it quickly. So that's the purpose for that. Down below that, we have one for admin services. In the past, admin services are very active in the city. Obviously, there are finances, there are HR, there are cemetery. They do a lot. They didn't have quite the public interaction that they do now, that they have taken over issuance of city business registrations. Now they have a lot more contact with the public, and we thought it appropriate to add them to the list of people getting scored, how their services are scored with the public. And at the very bottom of this one, there was just a bit of confusing verbiage around regarding the Business Assistance Center. Most people didn't know what that was, and I believe we just wrote BAC last year, so we kind of spelled it out this year. Go all the way down to this page. At the very bottom, we put on there how they can find out the results of the survey, which we haven't done before. We've got several different ways. They can hopefully get on the city website when the results are back. They can watch Channel 2, find out the results, because we'll do a presentation again at council when we're complete. Just a couple different ways for them to find out the results, because it has to be a little frustrating to participate and then not know how your comments came out. And then I just wanted to touch real briefly on the part I marked in lavender here. We instituted this last year. This asks for contact. It's contact information. If somebody wants to provide their contact information, this allows us to get back in touch with them. And I'll tell you, the first time we put this survey out in 2010, we had so many questions and comments, and we couldn't get back with that individual. So it was frustrating. I mean, we're able to take care of concerns, but we weren't able to get back to that individual and say that's been addressed. And now with this last year, I don't know how many of you know, but the city manager reads every single survey that we get back. So that's in the neighborhood, I hope, in the neighborhood of 950 surveys. We send out 9,000. We're hoping to get at least 10% back that we feel is a good cross-section of our community members. And so that's a lot of surveys, and every question he'll answer, whether it's via email, if they give him an email. If it's a concern, he'll always call them, and then he'll also forward it to the appropriate department to handle it, if it's having to do with street lights or streets or whatever it might be. So it was pretty neat that when we added that, we had so much more participation. All right. Here's a brief snapshot of the last two surveys. Numbers on the left, for those that weren't here, goes 1 through 5, 1 being very poor, 5 being excellent, and that's kind of how they were graded. And as you'll see here, every department was good. No department was scored less than good, the first year and the second year. The second year we had 2 questions drop a few percentage points. They still remained good, but as expected, both of those were residential streets and major streets. So we kind of expected to be hit a little bit there. However, and with the most complaint being 12th Street. With the length of time it took to move forward, though it was out of our ability to control, it was quite a frustration to the public. But we hope this score is going to increase with our recent improvements of Mingus Avenue, Mingus Extension, 10th Street, and with the actual construction of 12th Street ensuing in the near future. Lastly, we want to encourage anybody that gets a survey to turn it back in. You can turn it into any department. Just fill it out. It'll take 5 minutes of your time. Turn it into any department, because if you put comments on there, it makes a difference. We read them. We act upon them. And as a quick example, the mayor will remember this. We had a citizen mark on one of his surveys that he was a blind veteran, and we did not have lights that made it appropriate or able for a blind veteran to maneuver. And I think the mayor got on that so quickly. Within 30 days, we had lights that had sound so that veteran could navigate. And so we do listen, we do read, and we do act on them. So it's important to get these surveys back. We can't help if we don't know. All right, and that's it. Do you have any questions?
So I do, Doug and I were talking about, and I didn't really, I couldn't really see the first page, but we were talking about the trash question. Did he have any input on that since we talked?
He put trash on there because it wasn't on the original survey.
He and I were, I guess, talking about that before he had to leave for his, to be out of the office for a while. So he was just, you know, asking whether we wanted to put that back on again, and I think that...
that was separate. It was never a part of this survey.
Okay.
That's probably why I didn't understand.
Right, right. And then just one other very teeny tiny correction. The very first retreat that we had was immediately after I became mayor in 2007.
Was it?
It was like the very first thing that I did.
We didn't have the survey.
And Doug was,
So
we actually had Brian as our city manager, but we didn't, the council didn't have a retreat or an item of a survey, I don't think, for the first couple of years till 2009. But yeah, so any suggestions or questions about the survey?
No, I think it looks complete, and just hopefully we will all encourage our neighbors to fill it out.
First one will be going out the end of this month. There's 9,000 going to be going out throughout the month of February. So the end of March, I hope to have the results in.
Do we have any mechanism? Is there a box to check whether they live inside the city limits or outside the city?
That's what the top question is.
That was the top, and you mentioned that. Okay. So yeah, that's if they choose to answer it, I think that's important.
I put yes, no, and I don't know, because I know some citizens just don't know.
I know some people just don't.
They think their mailing address is Cottonwood. They live in Cottonwood.
Right. So that, it sounds good. And so when does it go out?
First one will be out the 2nd, I think, of February.
Okay.
It goes out in utility bills.
Utility bills.
So the utility bill, hard copy, you'll be getting this in the mail.
And a press release maybe
You'll
with
be getting on Inside Cottonwood as well.
A website link if they want to do it on the web.
Yep.
All right. Oh, good to go?
All right.
Thank you very much for your presentation. All right. The next item is approval of the minutes.
Call to the public.
Oh, did I forget? Oh, the most important thing tonight that we're doing is call to the public. Call to the public. This portion of the agenda is set aside for the public to address the council regarding an item that is not listed on the agenda for discussion. However, the council cannot engage in discussion regarding any item on the agenda that is not officially listed on the agenda for discussion and or action. Per A.R.S. 38431.02H. Comments are limited to a 5-minute time period, and we do have one person who's signed a form. If there's anyone else who wants to talk, grab a form and get it up here. We have Lonnie Wyatt with us tonight. Still. And are you going to come up?
I'm going to do it. Real fast. I'm going to go really fast.
Okay.
Penny, I don't remember. I used to walk. And before your chemotherapy, I looked different, much better. And, you know, I've been supporting the ARC for the 20 years I've been here. And I can't believe I was sitting next to you and didn't know. I'm not as flexible as Mr. Jackson. I'd like to be. The veteran that you were referring to, moving into the new home, I would assume to be in a wheelchair right now until he gets prosthetic if he chooses.
Oh, he's gone through all of that.
So does he have legs now or no? Yes? Prosthetics?
Yes, he does.
Great. He would be somebody that I would include in my mission. Originally, at last meeting, I thought that I've run my point home and was going to come in, say thank you, goodbye, I'm done. And I've had too many people either thank me for being here or coming, and encouraging me to run for council. Is all I can say.
Good.
I really, really, really would like, I'd like to ask one question. What is the population of Cottonwood?
And we're not able to respond to any questions.
Oh, where would I find? Okay.
You can,
So-
if maybe you could connect with our staff, Mr. Rodriguez. and
Yeah.
Give him a
Now-
call and he can answer that question
All
for
right.
you.
Had it not been for Mr. Rodriguez, Morgan Scott, Bruce, whose last name is not in my head right now, these people have supported what I'm doing and have some understanding. I spoke today. I'm now hammering my point into the engineering and facilities for ADOT so that we do not have, I know the Backuses for the whole time I've been here, and where they're building the new Sears, I asked Craig today if we're going to have the same issue with the driveways that we have at the new Discount Tire. First time there's water on that sidewalk, I am going to end up at Sonic in many pieces. And I spoke to 4 people today in wheelchairs. Because we have a serious lack of sidewalks and things like that, we are left only to use the bike lanes. It's, you know, my day is generally worse than any ride you could go on in Disneyland. So I'm going to the judges. I have an answer to the serious trash issue that we have in the city. The one thing that drives me nuts is cigarette butts. Working with American Spirit, believe it or not, they do recycle cigarette butts. They're making plastic patio chairs, this table, things that you wouldn't believe. And I'm presenting to the judges an alternative to community service because it's sorely needed. I will go out there and lead the party myself. I was forced to sell my business in California in right after we did the DNC because I had the 3rd stroke that I have recovered from and have already had 5. I am going to continue because I've been asked to, and I have really a lot of simple answers for a lot of simple questions. So I'm going to keep coming. I told you I wasn't going to go away.
Thank you.
And anybody in a pickup driving home tonight, it's really scary for me where all the tall trees past Catholic service, and I'm out there in a chair alone. So anybody that passes me, don't hesitate to pick me up. This comes in 2 pieces.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, approval of minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
So Mr. Elinsky made the motion, Mr. Pratt seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Comments regarding items listed on the agenda are limited to a 5-minute time period per speaker. Item number 9 is unfinished business. Item number 1 is ordinance number 603, revising section 19H of the city's employee manual with respect to conducting fingerprint background checks on newly hired city employees and certain volunteers. Second and final reading. And we have A.R.S. Dobler with us tonight to share a presentation on this item.
Madam Mayor and council members, I really don't have any further presentation other than what was made about 2 weeks ago. Steve, do you have any additional comments, or council members, do you have questions?
Any questions? We discussed this in length at the last meeting, at the first reading. Are there any more questions or comments?
My questions were answered 2 weeks ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Howdegee. Any comments from the public? If not, Mr. Pratt?
I move to approve ordinance number 603.
Second.
Councilmember Pratt made the motion. Councilmember Elinsky seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Deputy Clerk, please read the ordinance number 603 by title only.
Ordinance number 603, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, amending section 19.h of the city's employee manual and repealing ordinance number 406. Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Dobler. Okay, the next item is the consent agenda. The following items are routine and non-controversial. They're considered that way by the council, and they'll be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Number one is resolution number 2736, approving an agreement with the state of Arizona, Arizona Department of Transportation Multimodal Planning Division for aid in financing the installation of weather reporting equipment at the Cottonwood Airport. Item number two is acceptance of a right-of-way dedication and temporary construction easement from Scott and Shelby Fleming for the 12th Street reconstruction project and abandonment of a drainage easement currently held by the city on the property but no longer required. Are there any council members who wish to pull an item for discussion? No. Are there any members of the public who want to pull an item for discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second? Okay. Mr. Elinsky made the motion. The mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. City Clerk, Deputy Clerk, please read resolution number 2736 by title only.
Resolution number 2736, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, approving an intergovernmental agreement with the State of Arizona Department of Transportation Multimodal Planning Division for aid in financing the installation of weather reporting equipment at the Cottonwood Airport. Madam Mayor.
And I would say Yahoo! Okay, item number 11, new business. The following items are for council discussion, consideration, and possible legal action. Item number 1 is resolutions number 2737 and 2738, appointing members to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Mr. Faust.
Honorable Mayor and Council, staff is asking for your assistance in appointments tonight to fill vacant seats in the Parks and Recreation Commission by resolution. This is resolution number 2737 and 2738. The Human Resources Department had put an announcement out for the two vacant positions vacated by both Carol Nielsen as well as Mr. Al Hilberger, and both of them had completed their previous terms. The marketing advertising for the positions went out for approximately 6 weeks in the paper. We received the two individuals who would like to come back again on the Parks and Recreation Commission. That would be Ms. Carol Nielsen and Mr. Al Hilberger. And
Both are requesting once again to serve. You have their applications once again in your packet. The position terms of expiration were January 15th, 2014 for Carol, and January 5th, 2014 for Al Hilberger, and then both positions would expire on August 16th, 2016. The reason for that normally they would expire on January 7th, 2017. However, there needs to be an overlap. We already have 3 individuals that their positions will be, their term limits will be in January of 2017. We can't have all 5 of them coming up due at the same time. So we're just requesting that they serve basically a 2.5-year term, if council would authorize that.
Okay, Mr. Pratt.
Yeah, a few comments here. One is, this really is a no-brainer. 2, I really think this should have been on a consent agenda, since we only had 2 people apply for 2 positions, and they're both people who have served us really well, so, you know.
The only thing is if you put them on the consent and they're here, they might like to be able to have an opportunity to speak.
Right, and then they could ask to have it off.
That's
right,
true.
and they're both working.
But they're both known entities. They've worked for a while. We all know who they are and why they want to serve.
Job.
And they do a great job.
Yeah.
Any other comments from members of the council? Any comments from members of the public? Mr. Pratt.
I move to approve resolution number 2737, appointing Carol Nielsen to the city's Parks and Recreation Commission for a term that expires on August 16th, 2016. I move to approve resolution number 2738, appointing Al Hilberger to the city's Parks and Recreation Commission for a term that expires on August 16th, 2016.
Second. There's 2 moves. 2
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Pratt made the motion. Mr. Dowling seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Deputy Clerk, please read resolutions numbers 2737 and 2738 by title only.
Resolution number 2737, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Yavapai County, a member of the City of Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Commission establishing a term of office. Resolution number 2738, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Yavapai County, Arizona, appointing Al Hilberger, a member of the City of Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Commission, and establishing his term of office.
Okay, thank you very much. And Mr. Faust is here for the next item, or maybe one of you, for renewal of the special services agreement with that event company for the Rhythm and Ribs event.
And I'm going to defer to Hess.
Okay. Mr. Hess.
Madam Mayor, Council, thanks for your time this evening. If you attended last year's Rhythm and Ribs event, you noticed some changes. We extended, we added additional entertainment based on the work that event company had done, raising sponsorship dollars. We added KCBS rib competition that had never been done. In addition to that, we started a microbrew festival. So the program really blossomed last year. You might not have seen that on the numbers side, but that's soon to come. Staff felt that last year was a building year, and it will continue to build, but we'll see leaps and bounds. Our recommendation, according to the document, it leaves a loophole in there that if things are well, then we can recommend to move forward based on council's approval. With that in mind, staff is recommending that we do move forward based on the relationship that's been built. And with special events, basically it works as when you develop that relationship, those relationships move forward, and if they're really good, solid foundations, then the program's successful. And that's where we're at with that event company. They've done an amazing job with us. We'd like to continue that. On another side, that event company is requesting council's authorization to move forward on 2 additional programs. Super Bowl is going to be in Glendale in 2015. They're recommending to run a program that runs in conjunction with that. It would be a Jeep Jamboree, which would pull off the national exposure of the Super Bowl event and also GG Rock's experience with Super Bowl and Super Bowl corporate programs. In addition to that, they'd also like to request council's approval to move forward on an event that runs in conjunction with Arizona Bike Week, and having celebrities escort individuals from Arizona Bike Week up to Cottonwood to have a program, kind of calling it the Bootleggers Run. So, GG, want to come up and address the council?
And I'm sorry, I'll just interject, Madam Mayor and Hez, those are not before the council tonight for legal action. I think those are just in the nature of information.
Okay.
Correct.
Hello.
Hello.
I had sat with Hezekiah, we've got a great relationship going on right now, to talk about adding the 2 events to the calendar out here. With my experience in the corporate world, doing corporate events as opposed to Arizona Rhythm and Ribs for a city, 2 great opportunities that I don't think Cottonwood should miss out on, and that's Arizona Bike Week, that bring in hundreds and thousands of bikers. Not that we'll get all that up here because we have TVR, but also Super Bowl. Super Bowl, the week prior to Super Bowl, is all events, corporate events in the area, and most people will travel 100 miles to go to an event, so why not take a Jeep Jamboree and bring it up this way with celebrities driving Jeeps. I don't know how that will work, but we're going to play it all out, but that's what we're trying to do. Any questions on these 2?
Mr. Pratt?
Yeah, I just have some comments. One is, the only one we're voting on tonight really is the special services agreement with Rhythm and Ribs. Right. But I do highly recommend considering in the future the other events. I've also worked fairly closely with these folks, and they can be difficult, but they're great to work with. No, they're not difficult. They really are, and I think they've really dedicated themselves to helping the city of Cottonwood, their local folks, and they've even put in some extra time. And I just am so happy that we've teamed up with them. I think they've done a great job for us.
Great.
Council, I just wanted to indicate that we'll be probably just asking for a presentation time period as we go through the other 2 events for council. It's not that the council's approving those at all tonight. The main one is just the continuation of the Rhythm and Ribs program, and so that's the primary reason for tonight's agenda item.
Okay. So, council?
Yeah, I'll move the way.
Hang on just a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Any members of the community like to comment? Mr. Elinsky.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to renew the special services agreement between the City of Cottonwood and that event company for the planning and promotion of the Rhythm and Ribs.
Second. Okay, so Mr. Elinsky made the motion, the Vice Mayor out-seconded Mr. Pratt. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. All right.
Good luck.
Item number 3 is the 12th Street reconstruction, approval and acceptance of easements and rights-of-way.
Mayor, I'm going to declare a conflict.
Okay. Mr. Dowling is stepping down. And we have Mr. Houseman with us tonight to take us through this item.
Mayor, members of the council, just give me 1 second so I can pull this. Madam Mayor, members of the council, good evening. Tonight for consideration on the 12th Street Improvements Project, we have 23 easements. Most of the easements that we have brought to council at this time are, you'll see, are outlined in this kind of reddish area. If you guys, if council can remember at the last meeting, council went ahead and approved for the 12th Street reconstruction project to be built in 2 phases. First phase here starting at Fur, going all the way up here into the Christian Care Facility. If you'll notice, most of these red easements here, with some of the exceptions to some of the easements here on the north, have been completed. What we have are a variety of different easements. Most of them are pertaining to perpetual sidewalk easements, which were needed for pretty much all the driveway pans for every property owner to go ahead and have the ADA wraparound. So all the actual property owners that will be bringing to council have that easement attached to it. If you guys will notice as well, any of these cross streets here at Elm, 5-Star Marauder, those are easements and right-of-ways that were actually given to the city. We have, on the southern portion of this project, we have these 4 easements, which we'll actually be bringing back to council the first meeting in February. And we will have basically all the easements completed for actually to be ready to bid the project. Like I said, a lot of these easements that you'll notice in your packets contain drainage easements, temporary construction easements, as well as the perpetual sidewalk easements. And we have actually 4 of them in your packets that have right-of-ways. You know, staff has met with every single property owner, been a joy, you know, working with, you know, with every owner. Everybody seems to be on board. Again, like I said, just a couple of revisions that we had to make to some of the property owners towards the south end of 1st Street. But again, we should have those to council at the first meeting in February. Let's see, any questions? I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions?
16th Street will be kind of behind here. Here's Crestview, Elm. They'll run 16th Street, runs over here north-south.
Could you use that map up just a moment when you're finished?
Does it move up?
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
I don't, the map is, it's not a movable map.
No, it is not. It's just it's just an image of 12th Street. It doesn't move.
I know.
Okay. Mr. Pratt?
I hate to say it again, but I don't see why we wouldn't accept the easements and rights of way as presented. We need to get going on this project, we decided, and I know that staff has worked hard to get these, and yeah, we're crazy if we don't approve these, I think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We've discussed this so much and so often and for so many years that this is just sort of the frosting on the cake, I think. So, any comments from the public? All right. So, Mr. Pratt?
I move to accept the easements and rights of way as presented.
I'll second.
Mr. Pratt made the motion. Mr. Garrison seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And I'm sure that staff has already thanked these community members for what they have done. But on behalf of the City Council, please thank them again.
Absolutely.
This has been a great community collaboration with these property owners, and we do appreciate their willingness to make the street better for their property and the community. All right, so the next...
I've got to step off for 2 minutes. I've got to get a phone call.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Dowling, are you coming back to work? Okay, the next item is approval of the purchase of 3 Phillips HEARTSTART MRX machines or monitors, defibrillators. I always want to pronounce that another way. From ENERSPECT Medical Solutions, LLC, for the Cottonwood Fire Department. And we have the chief with us here tonight.
I'll go ahead and introduce this.
Mr. Rodriguez is.
We're requesting approval of the purchase of 3 Phillips HEARTSTART monitor now you got me going.
Okay, good.
Defibrillators from ENERSPECT Medical Solutions. The fire department looked and tested a number of these pieces of equipment from 3 different companies, and bottom line came to the conclusion that these were probably the best pieces of equipment that they tested. Not to mention that we were able to get 3 instead of 2 just from cost alone. We are able to acquire these monitors through the GSA contract. As you know, that's allowable through our financial operations procurement policy, where we can use cooperative contracts in lieu of actually going out for bid and in the solicitation process. These particular items are much needed in the fire department. It'll allow us to have those units on the first 2 engines at companies that'll go out, which is excellent for the city of Cottonwood. And the cost will be taken care of by the general fund budget in their fire department. That's already been calculated in for this current fiscal year. We're looking at a total cost of $52,029.59 for all 3 units. I believe we had $60,000 for those 3 units.
Wow.
Actually, we originally had $60,000 set aside.
Mm-hmm.
We had $60,000 in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And that was based upon looking, there's only 3 manufacturers left in the United States really who produce these units for us for pre-hospital. And looking at the other competitors, in fact, what we're even using now, a different brand that we're using now, we were only going to be able to buy 2 of them, but through going out and comparing the units, these are Phillips units, actually the cost of these 3 units is less than the others, and they still do everything. And after all of our testing, we felt there was no reason to not go with these units. There's nothing that they don't do that the other units did. So certainly wanted to get the most bang for our buck, and this allows us to put one, as he said, on each first 2 unit, gives us another monitor defibrillator, which we don't have now. We have 2, one on each of the first 2 units. Having the 3rd one now for special events, we can have it, or with our fire inspector, who is also a paramedic, to give us even more response capabilities. This is just the best bang for the buck. So,
right.
Unless you have any questions?
Any questions? Is this something that, like the Verde Valley Ambulance Company, do they have these machines?
They have these machines too. That was one of the considerations. They're using a different brand, the brand that we're using now, but we can still, we've worked through the ability to still have compatibility with them and be able to do that. Yes, you have to have these anytime a paramedic is functioning. Part of being a paramedic is being able to provide advanced cardiac life support. You have to have a monitor defibrillator to do that. So
you really can't have enough of them, really.
Service without those. So you have to have them, and consequently, there's a fair amount of redundancy. You have to have them on each unit that provides advanced cardiac life support.
Well, they wouldn't do much good if there was an emergency and it was on the other unit. So
yeah, that's so we're even increasing our capabilities by being able to go to 3 of them instead of 2. So.
Great. Well, that sounds like it was a pretty good deal to get 3 for the amount instead of just 2.
We were happy.
Yes, absolutely. And it's all for the safety of our community and keeping people alive when they have emergencies. So. Okay, so any comments from the public on this item? Yes.
Having gone to the hospital so many times, I know some of the guys as private friends, but I can't say enough about that fire department, the ambulance. They are, you know, for a small town, they, you know, thank you for saving my life.
I'm glad the fire department could be of service, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so any more questions or comments from the council? I'd entertain a motion.
I will make a motion.
Thank you, Mr.
You should have brought
Edinsky.
some of those tonight to wake up the rest of the council.
Oh.
Just didn't want to monopolize all the motions, that's all.
All right, so I'll move to approve the purchase of 3 Philips HEARTSTART MRX monitors, defibrillators from ENERSPECT Medical Solutions, LLC.
A second.
Okay, Mr. Elinsky made the motion, the Vice Mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Item number 5 is authorization to contract with ARRINGTON Watkins Architects, LLC for construction administration services for the new Emergency Communications Center. And we have Mr. Manjapan with us tonight.
Back again.
Back again on this project.
Madam
Keeps you
Mayor.
busy, right?
Madam Mayor, members of the council, I'm coming to you tonight for your approval to proceed with, it'll be an amendment to the original contract with ARRINGTON Watkins for the Emergency Communications Center. And this is for the construction administration phase of the project and their scope of work to provide their support during the actual construction. I won't go through all the dates and reiterate all that, but as I said, 2 weeks ago we approved, or you all approved, the proceeding with the construction for the 911 center. At that time, we hadn't gotten the final formal proposal from the architects for this phase, so we caught the next cycle, and that's why we're here tonight. It is for $80,000. I gave you the backup materials so you can see where all that money goes. It's not only for the architects, it's also for the structural engineer, the electrical engineers, mechanical, landscape, all the other support, civil, all the other support consultants that work with them that we're going to need to refer to and get their help during the construction phase. We elected to pull that out separate from their original contract, just in case some things didn't go through and the project didn't proceed. We had a cutoff point in their contract. So now that we're proceeding, we need to add this to their contract.
Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments from members of the public? If not, Mr. Pratt.
I'm wide awake.
All right, let's go for
I
it.
move to contract with ARRINGTON Watkins Architects, LLC to provide construction administration services for the Emergency Communications Center for a not-to-exceed amount of $80,000, including sub-consultants and reimbursable expenses subject to the negotiation and approval of a final form of agreement by the city attorney.
Second.
Mr. Pratt made the motion, the Vice Mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, claims and adjustments. Any questions or comments about the claims tonight?
I move to approve the claims and adjustments.
Second.
The Vice Mayor made the motion, Councilmember Pratt seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I move to adjourn.
Second.
The Mayor made the motion. I think the Vice Mayor was first and seconding it. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.